Welcome back, everyone. I am Vita Prestior, and this is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 20. Sorry for not getting a video last time. I wasn't feeling too well, and I figured I might as well just wait until the Doom came this week. This week, Dragonslayer did come out, who's LLR Vargas. It's definitely nothing new when people say the newest character is completely broken, but even by my usual standards of them just jamming every mechanic into one character, Dragonslayer is something else. Dragonslayer doesn't just ruin Apex in more ways than one, but he ruins practically any form of PvP, which includes World Arena. Well, I haven't seen him in World Arena yet, but I don't look forward to it. But he also ruins, AI Arena. So that's where I've first experienced him. He's ridiculous. He has so many self-reses. But I'll probably go more about his actual specific mechanics later, because I'm definitely not going to let him be on the board. My box I have changed. Obviously, it was kind of mostly to get in preparation for what's coming. I'm giving you a little bit more access to tank pushing, and a little less emphasis on certain rush strats that I don't really need to do anymore. So I dropped Akaya, I dropped Florentia, I dropped Alia. Who else did I drop? Because we picked up 1, 2... I think that's it. Now, let's see, 1, 2... 3 characters? Yeah, I picked up 3 characters, it looks like. Yeah, let's go about it. Yeah, so I dropped three characters: Alia, Akaya, and Florentia. And I picked up Celica, Agnes, and Lightbringer. So now I have 2 tanks. I technically have like 4 healers, I think. 1, 2. Well, I have 3 primary healers, and then a number of characters that can passively heal or have a little bit of off healing. Lightbringer is kind of the best of the bunch as far as another tank is concerned. She does have passive healing. She can also make it so people are immune to stun and all sorts of good things like that. I'm not going to be as desperate about getting a tank like I've been back when I did play, the 2-4 setup or the 4-4 setup. If my opponent bans tanks, then I'll try to focus more on aggression, which will kind of give me a lot more flexibility as far as my opening picks are concerned. Everything else is generally here just to provide survivability, because if I am going to be tank pushing and dealing with possibly copies because of Anya, this will try to get me as much healing as possible. As for my opponent, they do have LLR Vargas, which is known as Dragonslayer. Looks like they have a Bright Summoner, which I wasn't really sure what type it was, because the box itself was kind of... It's like rush and mixed. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, it has healers, and it technically has one tank, one quote-unquote tank, and then technically Bernhardt can also physical tank. Vargas can guard against anything, though that's usually not the purpose you take him for. But yeah, the rest of it's kind of like weird rush stuff and ways to reinforce, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of healers for this type of box. I don't know how to feel about it. In any case, excuse me. My opponent opens with banning Ilya, and I have to ban Dragonslayer first. Essentially, the meta at this point is most people will have both Dragonslayer and Anya, and in both cases, each side will have to decide which one they want to deal with. They want to deal with Anya making copies, or deal with the near infinite self-resing of Dragonslayer. I'm going to be opting to ban Dragonslayer first. I haven't fought him in Apex yet, but I have fought him in quote-unquote AI Arena, and he's ridiculous. I can't. There's no going around it. I don't know what. Usually everything ramps up, power creep and all that. I can't imagine what can be stronger than what Dragonslayer is. Yeah, I don't really know what the counter strategy is besides just enduring and outlasting. In any case, at this point, I'm going to ban Dragonslayer. And I go ahead and pick Bright Summoner as my opening pick. So with this, that means that there's a good chance that my opponent could pick Anya, which means I have to kind of... Anya by herself is not the biggest issue. It's generally who she could possibly copy, which includes my own units. But usually it's going to be one of her own units. So I generally have to keep an eye in the box and be like, okay, what am I okay with them having 2 of? Alright, so they ban my Virelia, they ban my Anya, and they grab their Bright Summoner. So I was like, cool, that's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and ban their Anya, go ahead and ban Lightbringer. Lightbringer by herself is not a big deal, but the fact that you can easily do Bright Summoner, summon, and get everything into the fray, and then follow up with a Sword and Light and Shadow teleport, I just did not want to deal with that. I go ahead and grab my Sovereign of the Ice Abyss. They go ahead and get rid of my Auden Kelno, get rid of my Awakened one. I was actually considering taking the Awakened one, but obviously I was concerned about them taking Rose and Seal, and they did pick Rose and Seal right off the bat, which was perfect, because I was definitely not going to pick the Awakened one in that case. So at this point, I go ahead and get rid of Tiana, get rid of Sovereign of the Ice Abyss. I'm mostly concerned about self-resing and Act Agains at this point. I think, yeah, there's still a couple of those to deal with. I go ahead and grab Lightbringer at this point, because I can definitely see that there's a lot of rush potential here. They get rid of my Leonid, they get rid of my Eshian, they go ahead and grab their SP Bernhardt. So I go ahead and get rid of Salika, get rid of Eshian, and at this point I go ahead and grab Rose and Seal. Because there's still a lot of AoE I need to deal with, and I also just want to be able to negate debuffs at this point. They go ahead and get rid of my Salika, they get rid of my Agnes, and they grab their Andriel. And at this point, I was like, all right, I'll get rid of Nanorin. Nanorin can be kind of dangerous if she reaches you. With her talent, she can easily push units away from the tank and then just snipe them. Also, I definitely didn't want to deal with the possible ramp that Isolde has. Xeon, I really don't know what he does, but he's not someone I'm scared of. I am definitely concerned about Namiya, but I'm hoping that I can just last long enough that I don't have to worry about her. Obviously, my final pick is my other tank, or I can grab Mariondel, which honestly, I'm completely fine with having Mariondel as opposed to the other characters. So grab Mariondel, and they grab Namiya. Alright, let's go ahead and do this. Okay. Bright Summoner, same stuff as always. I have 3C, Contract Summon, and Holy Dragon Breath. Sovereign Ice... Oh, and with Fairy Spirit Prophets. Sovereign Ice Abyss, I have Fairy Spirit Prophets and all of our exclusives. Rose and Seal, I brought Shrine Maidens with all the... with both her Crystal Heal... Oh, all heals, we'll just call it that. All heals. One thing to note is I generally have a lot of holy classes in my box, and that is definitely another reason why I have to get rid of Dragonslayer, because Dragonslayer reverses class disadvantage, which means he essentially gets an insane buff against any sort of holy unit. Speaking of holy units, I got Lightbringer here with Phalanxes. For the most part, I wasn't really thinking too much about Bright Summoner. I was more concerned about everything else, which is physical. Bright Summoner is kind of dangerous, but at this point, I'd rather just have the Phalanxes out for the physical reduction. I have Discipline, 3C, and Light Flow. Mariondel, I have Holy Guard Mages with 3C, Aqua Purification, and Wind Blade. Got my usual cross formation. And my opponent here has Rose and Seal with Sorceresses, has Defense... Wait, one thing I want to check out, actually. Okay, my general stats seem to be a little bit higher, but that's okay. Alright, I'm just comparing some stats here. Alright, so Rose and Seal here went Defense Support, which I'm not sure why, and has Miracle and Mass Crystal Healing. I'm wondering if this one has not been. I'm wondering if this one hasn't been awakened yet. I'm wondering if this one's capped at 5 skill points. Like, there's no 3C, and this is only 5 skill points worth of stuff. Because I'm pretty sure Defense Support L is only 1 skill point. In any case, with sorceresses, we've got Bright Summoner here, is Mage class, does have 3C, Contract Summon, and has Aurorian Redemption with Wild Expedition as the troops. She is Mage class, but only can move 3. She's also in the back row, so she's not going to be able to reach me anytime soon. And it looks like she's the same stats. Also, stat-wise, she's a little bit lower than mine. Alright. Andriel here, Angels with, I'm not sure which one is the 3C, to be honest. Javelin, Rectification, Reversal of Fortune. I'm not too familiar with Andriel's specific skills. When they're allies with Oath of Loyalty, blah blah blah. Can move. Okay, so the move again, act again here. Okay, I think this is the 3C. Alright, and then has Javelin here. Okay, and then we got Bernhard here, SP class. Does have Iron Fist, so can tank physical attacks. Joke's on him, because all my stuff is magic, including my tank. Does have 3C and Hail to the King, which is the thing where he selects his skill and moves again, act again. With Steelmade Werewolves. Namiya here has Island Ambassador with Aim, Coral Volley, and 3C. This Namiya, man, 1970 attack. That is ridiculously high. My opponent did go with the Covenant that is specialized in physical damage, and mine, of course, is the one that specializes in magic damage. Alright, so my options are essentially just the rush forward. I can get to here, and then, of course, move all the way to here with the summon and shoot Andriel. And I'm okay with that. I definitely want to take out Andriel. I was kind of concerned about the Angels, because obviously Angels can reduce magic damage by quite a bit. But if it doesn't work, I can always try to do a follow-up or fallback. But despite the resistance, I actually critted, and the follow-up lightning damage actually kills him. So at this point, I was like, I thought I traded. That's what I assumed I did. I assumed that either Namiya would be able to move up and aim and then get in range and just blast Bright Summoner. Or, of course, their Bright Summoner could do like 3C and then attack and then follow up. But their Bright Summoner did not do 3C, instead opted to do just a regular summon. The regular summon does have not as good abilities. I think they have reduced stats. Yeah, they have a weakened Sacred Judgment. I know Sacred Storm Judgment. I know that much. Something along those lines. But yeah. Actually, does it say here? No, it doesn't say. Okay, but yeah, this one is different. And the difference is... So this does have the ranged extending staff just like mine. But since this one was not the 3C version, it did not give it... when you get fail on kill, it should have given an act again to the summoner, but for the regular summon version, you don't get that. So instead, I just took a bunch of damage. Obviously, Namiya can follow up and get kill here. I was also concerned about possibly getting AoE'd here, because that... Yeah, 2200 physical damage, or 22 attack is, I'm pretty sure an AoE will kill her. So I was like, alright, you know what? We're just going to do a pull on myself. This does a couple of things. One is it gives me an opportunity to put Chain Whip on Bright Summoner. And while I'm doing this, each of these things is giving stacks to Mariandel. And then I can use my 3C to yank Bright Summoner to the back. And I've already gotten up to 3 stacks from Mariandel for that. So with that, I should be completely safe on this end. And my opponent just moves up and doesn't do anything. I can't really attack so it's like she's safe for now. And to be honest, my opponent will have initiative next round because I killed his unit so soon. I can get to here, and I don't have a range extending staff. I can only go up to 4 stacks of mana energy, so this is as far as I can snipe. I can do AoE, but I won't be able to get kill. Alright, so Bernhardt's just going to easily get kill here. And all that passive healing kind of took care of everything. I wanted to crystal heal here, obviously to get as many crystal stacks as possible. It also capped out Mariandel's stacks. Resident Seal here moved in to do her own crystal healing. And I go ahead and just use this opportunity to do Aqua Purification. This will purge 2 buffs off of Namiya, which will make her attacks a little bit weaker. I'm not in water, so this attack does not bypass guard. Does do very good damage. It is physical, though. And then her act again, move again. There's a lot of water here, so she's able to move a lot of steps. Alright, so right now I don't have any stacks of... I think I have 1 stack, actually. 1 stack of mana charge, or of mana energy. I can't reach Namiya yet. My pull and all that's been used, so I don't have very much mobility with Sovereign of the Ice Abyss, and Bright Summoner is kind of out of position as well. So it is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and do Light Flow. So the main reason I did Light Flow is mainly just to get another mana stack active. It does give me some immunities, but really it was just for the mana stack. So I get hit with Thunderstorm here. I do have Crystal Healing active, so this is just going to passively heal. It did proc my Butterfly. And it my helmet, my exclusive items procced, so I got 2 stacks from that. And she goes ahead and pulls the summon away. One thing I didn't realize is that teleport callback does actually put an electric field on the unit's original spot, which is kind of neat. Anyway, I talked through all this, but I have 4 stacks now, so I'm within range to go ahead and hit Namiya. And yeah, she has nothing. So we can just blast away here. And my opponent gives up at this point. So yeah, not too shabby. I think my opponent made a lot of mistakes. I think the way that my opponent was moving was kind of making assumptions about my actual threat range, which at the time was definitely safe. But once I started getting the max mana stacks, I was able to easily just get in range and blast away. Technically, Mariandel was out of position, but honestly, there wasn't really much left to be threatened by. Bernhard had spent his action killing my summon last round, so he didn't have his faction buff active for the extra mobility or stats, and yeah, he wasn't going to get very far. Bright Summoner could have been slightly dangerous. I don't know why my opponent didn't do 3C. 3C would have definitely guaranteed get a kill on my Bright Summoner, in which case things would have been slightly more interesting. To be honest, I don't think it would have made much of a difference. Honestly, because all I would have done instead was probably try to yank their Bright Summoner towards me and kill her that way. So I think in either case I would have won the trade. So yeah, nothing too special here. I did lose a prior match because I gave up on it. I kind of looked at the box and I was like, no, I don't want to deal with that. I kind of wish I had played through it, but at the same time, I just did not want to deal with it. Dragonslayer's kind of put a damper on my spirits as far as Apex is concerned. So speaking of, let's go ahead and talk about Dragonslayer. I don't intend on grabbing him because he's a male unit, but this is what he is. I think he gets 2 different classes, but the class you go for is Demon, and the main reason is because any class disadvantage is reversed. So generally, Holy gets an insane amount of advantage against Demon units, but now it becomes his advantage. So he kind of just devastates a lot of people tend to use Holy units because obviously they tend to have decent stats and all that good stuff. And obviously with the combination of holy troops, you can make it so you're immune to fixed damage and all that good stuff with certain accessories. But yeah, so he reverses class disadvantage. He gets a flat damage reduction because for some reason they think he's a tank. When any unit within 3 blocks dies, he gets Fury. Anytime he has a Fury stack, if he dies, instead of dying, he will self-res. His max HP will drop by 15%, and then his HP will actually restore back to the original percentage that it was before taking fatal damage. So if you happen to be at full HP and somehow get one-shotted, this would make it so you lose 15% of your max HP, and then you come back at full life. Now, if you just are at low HP and then you get killed, then you come back at low HP. And every time you self-res, it eats up one of the Fury stacks. Also, while he has Fury active, which means as long as he has 1 or 2 stacks, anytime an enemy ends their turn within 3 blocks, he'll automatically move and attack that unit, and it'll bypass guard. And when fighting, if he has higher percentage HP than the enemy, he gets first strike. Otherwise, he restores 30% of damage dealt after battle. So yeah, that's the start of it. Now the thing is his Fury stacks actually do a lot more based off his passives. So we'll talk about his 1-cost passive. So yeah, the Fury stacks are the things that lets him... let's see... Oh, so yeah, this passive gives him a self-res outside of his Furies. So even when he has no Furies, this will let him self-res at 50%. As an active, he can essentially buff both his offensive and defensive stats and gain Fury. And if he already has Fury, he will also be able to move again and act again. So right off the bat, he can easily give himself a Fury. The fact that this also just flat gives him a self-res means you can't rush kill him in most cases. So yeah, you're already in bad shape to begin with. So rush killing him before he can bulk up is not really an option. His other skill you'll most likely see him take is this one, Disdain of the Dragons. Passive, he will take all attacks, essentially it's a guard. He reduces crit chance against himself, and he's immune to displacement. As an active, he increases his counterattack range to 2. His guard range will increase to 2. If he has Fury, it goes up to 3. So he actually can get a guard range of 3. He also adds to his attack based off his defense, kind of like the old Vargas. And yeah, so yeah, he's able to self-buff himself. He's able to act again. He's able to res multiple times. He's able to guard. And then his 3C makes it so he can, what he'll do is he has to target something within a straight line, which is not a big issue. At the start of the next round, he'll get Fury and then enter Draconic Rage state. The Sky Shattered Dragon skill will be replaced with Flame Domain. Damage dealt increases by 30%, and any buffs on the caster do not lose their turn count after taking action. And then he'll teleport and target to the target and deal 0.3 times AoE damage to enemies within 3 blocks. If he has Fury already, the above effect will trigger immediately instead of after 1 turn. And after use, he can act again with remaining mobility. Draconic Rage ignores immunity and cannot be dispelled and can exist alongside the Fury state. So essentially what he can do is he just can teleport into you and then just start wailing on you. What's crazy is essentially anytime anyone dies around him, I believe it's, yeah, any unit, whether it's allies or not, he essentially gets a Fury stack. It just becomes ridiculous. Like, I had to fight him in regular arena here. And he's just kind of, he's kind of silly. I don't know if I have any I could show this time. I don't think I do. But essentially, I had to kill him 5 times. That's what I ended up having to do. There is some quote-unquote weaknesses he does have is, if you force him to attack you and he doesn't get his first strike, and you can counterattack kill him. You can just kind of forcibly remove his stacks pretty quickly. But that's assuming that you're just only dealing with Dragonslayer and not the rest of the characters. In most cases, most people who have Dragonslayer will usually bring some sort of healing or passive healing. The ones I've ran into usually have Mimir's Hammer, so every time something dies, he gets healed anyway. Also, that 30% healing thing he gets every time he fights, that does definitely make a big difference. Like, he just keeps healing, and you kind of just have to keep killing him over and over again until he just, yeah. I am going to have to deal with him one way or the other, because obviously World Arena doesn't let me I only fight in Bronze and Silver, so I don't ever get to ban pick. And, yeah, I don't look forward to that. So, anyway, that's enough rambling about Dragonslayer. My intention is just to ban him always, and hope to God that nothing else comes out that I can't handle, besides obviously the other things I can't handle. But at least we got a win this week. That's a nice confidence booster. So yeah, I'll go ahead and call it here. I am the Depressed Viewer. This was Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 20, and I'll see you guys next time.